Come here. Get off.
Hey y'all, welcome to this week's episode. Wait, hold on, my bad. Welcome to this week's episode of The Turn On.
Okay, y'all think something is wrong.
What you said?
He gonna think something wrong.
No, it's the echo effect.
I know.
Dear
He gonna be
listeners, y'all need to see this in YouTube so you can see the joys of this golden mic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll turn off the mic. Okay, y'all. Welcome to this week's episode of The Turn On. I am your host, Erica, and I have my lovely co-host, Kenrya.
Hey,
and this week, we're giving you a quickie. We are going to talk about what COVID has... We did a dispatch to ask what COVID has taught our listeners about sex and intimacy and relationships and all that good shit. So, Killa.
Okay, I guess that's my signal to play the first dispatch. But I can't even say it. Dispatch. Okay. Let's see. Who should we listen to first?
The black woman.
They're all black. I think we will start here.
COVID has allowed me to explore a deeper intimacy with my partner, looking beyond any of the, physical things are great, but just really because I think a lot of us have slowed down, you're able to really kind of do a deep dive and get even closer to your partner. So I think that that's been a really beautiful thing. We do the late night sit up and talk. We cuddle more. So I think all of those things, if there's a silver lining to any of it in the pandemic and how you relate to your partner in that way, I think that's it.
Okay.
You want to kick off thoughts or shall I?
Go ahead.
I think it's nice. I think COVID has taught... she brings up something that I realized is that COVID has caused everything to slow down. And because everything is slower, you pay attention to more things. And I can only imagine. I feel like I've become a better parent because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Still want to, choke them out sometimes. But, I feel like I became a better parent because I am now kind of savoring our everyday interactions. And it sounds like that's what they're doing in their relationship.
Yeah, it does. I was thinking about whether or not I've seen that same thing over on this end, but I feel like that's like a big part of my relationship with my partner is us sitting around doing absolutely nothing anyway. So I guess it hasn't even been more of the same. We still on the same schedule as it were in terms of how often we do all of that. But it has just been nice to sit. I think the slowness for me is really around the same lines as it is for you in terms of like with my kid. Like we're not racing from this after school club to this art therapy to this dance class to this violin and what other instrument does she play? Something else by a piano lesson. Like it's been nice because it's made me kind of reevaluate what's necessary in terms of like being out of the house. And I already welcome being in the house anyway.
Girl. I'm like, girl, start your car just so it don't go bad.
I do. So since I have doctor's appointments every week, I do go. But I just had to get something fixed with the idler or whatever. Something I had never heard of, idle pulley, because it does like I let my kids sometimes go sit in the car just for a change of pace, but it's like messed up the car because I don't go anywhere enough. So,
Damn.
I know. And the tires on the one side need air in them more often because they on concrete and not on gravel. And it's like a whole thing. But my partner takes it and puts air in it. I don't think about those things. But
love it.
It's been nice to slow down around that and really made me think about when she's back in school full time, how many of these things we're going to pick back up and how many of them we're going to leave right where they at on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Even just, with my life and the things that I'm doing, some of this shit gonna be, I have given up, clothes. Real clothes.
Yeah,
I've said this multiple times.
I'm in one of my gorgeous gowns.
Well, I've said this all the time. You know how you see movies and they talk about in the future, and in addition to the cars that fly, everyone's wearing yoga clothes with no zippers and that kind of shit.
In post-apocalyptic movies where everybody's wearing the same shit.
Yeah. And you're how the fuck did that happen? COVID. Everybody was forced at home. No one had to wear pants. And so now we're getting back out. And it's I refuse to go back. Your grandkids are going to come to you and be like, Granny, can you believe that they made pants out of denim that had buttons and zippers? You're back in the day.
Yeah, and I gave up on them shit somewhere along the way. It's true.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
As I sit here in my this is the shit from Demolition Man.
We've moved on. We figured out what's most important. So that was nice. All right, we got some more. Let's get into another sentiment entirely.
How was our sex life during quarantine? Well, let's see. I spent quarantine with my mother, my 3-year-old, and my husband. Sex got pretty tricky at times. My mother was here because she had come to babysit my child while my husband and I went away to go to a wedding. By the time we came back, she was scared to get on a plane, so she stayed here for over a year. My husband, I'm used to him being on the road 2, 3, sometimes 4 days a week. So when he would come home, our weekends, you have sex because you're home. And we just kind of got in this routine of it always being exciting because we were apart for most of the week. Well, during quarantine, I saw him every day. And my mom was here. And my son had nowhere to go. So some days we were exhausted because I feel like the entire country was tired. So when we did have sex, it was a different dynamic because we were, my mom's down the hall. And even though we're grown, it still feels weird. And because we saw each other every day and we're so used to being apart and then we get back together and it's so exciting, we had to figure out new ways to make it exciting and quiet at the same time. So it got tricky, but we made it. We had a couple of patches where it got a little boring and it started to feel a little robotic. There definitely were times where it felt like we were doing it just out of comfort because the entire world was crazy, which then also made it not so fantastic. So, I found it interesting when my single friends who were complaining about not having sex and, oh, you get to sleep with a man every night or just have a partner every night because he's right there with you. Yeah, but I see him every day now, sun up to sundown, and I don't want to have sex with him as much as you think I want to have sex with him. You just want to have sex because you haven't been able to have sex. So just because I sleep at the bed with my husband every night doesn't mean that we're just wild banshees in the house because we don't have nothing else to do. Nah, it got old.
All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, listening to this reminded me of the one thing that I always say is that a marriage is a contract between two people, and whatever goes on between those two people to make it work is their marriage. And, some people would not be able to, do a regular everyday with a person that traveled all the time and was never at home. But sounds like that's part of what makes this marriage their marriage. Yeah. I thought that was
what makes it tick.
Very telling.
Yeah. Not just honestly, the idea of having another adult in my home for any length of time that's more than like a weekend is frightening to me. I just very much I believe that adults can't really live together if they're not fucking. I don't like it. There ends up being too many people around. I'm just not that person. I'm not that roommate, communal live. I just, it ain't me. I ain't had a roommate since college.
Well, it works
because
in
we're
my
in
house.
Separate homes. Oh,
well, it works because my space is so separate. Like I can go for a minute without seeing my roommate. So yeah.
But it ain't.
Only reason it works. And they have their own bathroom, entrance, all of that. I mean, they cook, which is helpful. But it's not like your space.
Why do you talk about your brother like he's a random person?
Well, I'm not sure if I told people that my brother lives with me.
You have, absolutely.
Oh, well then yeah, he cooks. This is why I can't lie, because I can't keep up with shit. Yeah. So, brother.
Yeah. But I briefly, when we, a lifetime ago, bought a house in Baltimore City and we were waiting on repairs. And
I
we had to stay
remember.
with somebody. Nigga. It was so tough for me that I left for a few days and went and stayed with somebody else.
I remember that. He was like, I can't do this shit.
Yeah, and it's not about the person. I just don't do well. I like my space. I like my solitude. I like to not have to listen to somebody talking all the time. And honestly, that's one of the hardest parts about being a parent, because I feel like
mama. Yeah.
And it's always I'm working all the time, right? But then when I take breaks, it's that's when she come too. And so I finally had to tell her a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I was like, so the only breaks I really take during the day are when I eat. And I was like, I'll be honest, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't like to talk while I eat. I want to just sit here, read a little bit. Maybe I'll look at Twitter if I, forget that I got a book that I need to be reading, and just do that and turn my brain off just for a little bit for 15 minutes before I got to get back to work. But I got to listen to what just happened on Roblox. I got to listen to who said what crazy thing in the chat, who spamming the chat with Naruto over and over again in class and not getting in trouble. Yeah. All of the things that are happening. And I do not mind hearing those things, but I do not want to hear them while I'm trying to have my quiet food time. That's my self-care time.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So the idea of having another adult, even someone who, if you're close to your mom, nah, that sounds like hell to me.
Yeah, I agree. Because you, not even like you, I like having people around. But when I'm ready to shut it down, it's literally like a wall, like a boop. I'm done. And now I'm a little more courteous, because I will say, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you're better because you used to be
into a
like
fucking Grinch and be like, oh,
you were like
never
go
mind.
in another room or whatever. Like, oh, I guess she does.
Got that after my grandfather. So this reminds me of makes me want to talk about what COVID taught me. COVID taught me, like, it drilled home the difference between sex and intimacy. Because I got to a point where I just wanted sex. I was tired of my vibrator. I needed, like, a dick with a person attached to it that can, like, do some wild shit. And, I wasn't expecting that. You know?
Hard to surprise yourself with your hand.
Exactly. But also it taught me that this is purely for decoration. I'm holding my mic up. It also taught me that I actually do enjoy cuddling and that form of intimacy. You know, like I missed having snuggles and people, you know, like, and just somebody rubbing my booty. Because there was a point where I was about to call the mailman and be like, hey, I need you to do something real quick. Just give me 5 minutes.
He would have came. He would have came.
He would. Ooh. Okay, on to the next.
All right, let's go with this one.
I learned that getting nice with yourself in a super hot bath of coconut oil, Epsom salt, and geranium essential oils packs the same punch of about 1.35 edibles. Now, seriously, I think I learned or rediscovered how sexy it is to laugh. And not on no mean or ridicule shit, demeaning shit, just like laughing and being silly and goofy in the bedroom. Just really, I don't know, sex has been really fun, mostly because we've just been enjoying each other, exploring each other, and laughing. Laughing at ourselves, laughing at each other, just giggling and shit. It's been wonderful.
Word. Little masturbation in there, little laughter.
I like it.
I do too. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, outside looking in, someone who didn't have a relationship, you know, a steady relationship during COVID. That's the one part that I miss, like inside jokes, and because you know I love a good snow day, and COVID was the equivalent of like a year-long snow day.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
That's the part that I like. Feel like I missed out on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say I didn't miss out on that part. It has been the best part, and laughter is a huge, huge part. A huge part of our relationship. Like the other day, I started watching an episode of House Hunters, and House Hunters International, and it was this hotepi ass couple, black couple in Vietnam, and I got maybe 6 minutes in, stopped it, took a picture of the episode information, and saved that shit so we can watch it when he came over, because I knew
He was like,
that
no, we
would
need
have
to share
fun.
this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible. But I knew that we would have a good, it's like our equivalent of people watching now. Like one of the things that we used to do was go eat at restaurants and, you know, make up stories about the people around us, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And we lost really ain't no people to watch when everybody is doing what they're supposed to do, at least. Now we just like walk past people who are not masked and are not vaccinated and coughing and look around in disgust and try to get around them as fast as possible. But so yeah, like we just find a lot of places to laugh. We have our shows that we watch. We laugh just doing nothing. It's fun. It's definitely I think just been nice to have that time during this time, like to be able to find that laughter in a situation that is not funny.
Yeah, like the second Dispatch said, like, the world's falling apart, and so sometimes you just need that warmth. So I'm glad that y'all were able to find laughter in that.
It's been fun. All right, let's go to another.
What COVID taught me about sex? The first thing I'd say is I didn't realize that my sex drive is tied to the cleanliness of my house. With the whole family home during the pandemic, I constantly found myself running behind my kids and my husband trying to keep the house clean. So by the time I finished homeschooling, work, and house chores, I was tired as hell. So sex took a back seat. But what I realized is I cannot fuck in clutter. The second thing I realized is while I was over here complaining, I would then talk to my girlfriends who would say they were in some sort of sexual drought because they didn't have in-house dick. Meanwhile, I had it and took it for granted. So I started to put out more than I was doing before. Then the last thing I would say is I didn't realize that I desire my husband more when I have a chance to miss him. So with him being around all the time, that sexual connection just wasn't there. So we had to find a way to spice it up. And what we did was we introduced porn, watching porn together. And not that we hadn't done it in the past, but it definitely added an extra spice to our life.
All right.
That one was a good one.
It was a good one. And yeah, fucking in clutter. Yeah,
like
I ain't got it either.
Things got to be right for this pussy to get wet. And a dirty house, nasty sheets. So you know what's something that stood out to me in that dispatch that kind of seems like a theme? And I don't know if it's marriages in all or just our generation or whatever, but folks need to they recognize that I can't see you every fucking day. Like, I need you to get the fuck out of my house for me to really appreciate it. Do you think that's just a kids these days thing or an all the time thing that we're just now picking up more?
I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I think there's probably people in all of the camps. Like, I'm not honestly in that camp. Never really have been, but I am in the everybody needs a door to close camp. Like, I don't have to not see you for days or anything like that in order to miss you. I don't need to miss you to miss you. Do you know what I mean? But I believe everybody needs to have their own space within the where y'all live or whatever to be on their own. Everybody, I don't, you know me, I like to be by myself. I very much enjoy my own company. But that don't mean I need to do that for days on end. I may need to be in my room long enough to watch a movie by myself, or, you know what I mean? I want to go take a bath or wash my hair and I'm in the bathroom for a couple hours. I'll see you when I get out. Go do your thing. I do mine. But yeah, I don't know. My guess is that there's always been people in both camps for as long as there has been time. I think it's probably just easier now to get away from folks. Right? Like most people have maybe they have a little bit more support or, you know, it's more likely that your job is going to take you somewhere else. Like in the case of the one caller, you know, whose husband is gone 3 or 4 days a week. So you can, you know, kind of build that in and it's a little easier to be away. And then there's more people working outside of the home, right? Than there were a generation or two ago. So the idea of, you know, both partners being able to be gone wasn't necessarily a thing. Although for Black people, being able to stay home has often not been a thing. Even if we had to take care of other people's kids and then have somebody else take care of our kids, that was a thing. Yeah, so my guess is that it's probably always been there and we just seeing it in different ways. What you think?
I agree. And also I think that we're willing to admit it more. I think that we're a
that's
lot
real.
more open about the fact that, like, this ain't not the clampets, the beavers, the cleavers, leave it to beaver, black and white. This ain't the olden days where you gotta, like, put on airs. So I think we're more willing to admit, like, this motherfucker get on my nerves. So I think you think about parenting, like, people are more willing to be like, yo, my kid's a hot mess, you know? So I think it's just the move towards authenticity where we're able to say that more, but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Who we got up
That
next?
makes sense to me. Okay, let's go with this one.
Okay, so I've been lucky. I started dating my partner just before the pandemic, and we really kind of got serious kind of during the pandemic, so I didn't have a lapse of this past year and no sex. Thank you, Jesus. But what I learned also was how to have an orgasm. Oh my God. I've been, I wouldn't say I've been missing out. I've been satisfied. I was never unsatisfied during sex per se. But damn, this is a new thing. This is a whole nother level. I am so much more in tune with my body. My sexual experiences are in a new, like, it went from earthly to cosmic, right? Because being able to suspend your mind and your spirit and physically in that way is amazing. So thanks, COVID, for teaching me that.
I
Well,
love
that's fucking
it.
delightful, right?
I love it. And also, I think that it's cool that she recognized, like, I wasn't having orgasms, but I was still enjoying sex. And it's possible to enjoy sex and not have orgasms. But yeah, I like that. Thanks, COVID.
No, it absolutely is possible. I mean, I think we've talked a bit on the show before about not necessarily being goal oriented all the time. I do enjoy it, but it's not always my aim. So, I've done a lot of reframing and really in my current relationship about what it means to have sex. I think that I used to very much center it around penetrative sex because I've been with partners where that was the thing. And well, not to say that it's not a thing with my partner because he still be like, we need to have, and I'm like, this is sex too. Like, it's okay.
It's not like it's a requirement with him or you gonna get passive aggressiveness. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. Because I've been with people who counted how often we had sex, and this is not that. But he also is like, okay, stop giving me head because we need to have sex. I'm like, nigga, we are having sex. Relax. Like, I don't have to come for this to count as a sexual encounter. I'll get mine later. Don't worry.
Oh, rent's gonna be due some point. At some point.
Exactly. It's okay.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I like that, also that she recognized that she was having a good time, but I also like that she is experiencing something new.
I like earthly versus
seeing
cosmic.
It some levels. Yeah.
That made me, I like that saying.
Yeah, and that starting a relationship right before COVID didn't like push them too far too fast and break shit. That things are going well.
Because I feel like that would definitely be a concern. Like,
yeah,
because it's kind of one of those like,
this is new.
Do we commit? Because the world closing down. Either we're together or we're not.
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right. All right, here we go. One more.
One of the things I've learned about sex during COVID is to slow it down. Pre-COVID, married, kids, just super busy, just trying to fit in what we could, get in where you fit in. But during COVID, purchased a lot more fun things to expand on the foreplay. So CBD intimacy oils, vape pens, vibrators, just fun stuff to really allow us to slow it down and enjoy each other more.
I think that's really great that they, that they slowed down, right, as we've been talking about, but that they saw the value in changing stuff up a bit and using this as an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think COVID has given everyone... There have been lots of shitty things that have happened because of COVID, but I think there have also been
all of that.
Yeah, but I think there also have been like just pockets of joy and things that people have discovered. I keep saying I've never seen so many people in my life like embrace creative things and become more creative people and all of that. So, yeah. I mean, so overall, was that it? Do we have any more?
Oh, no, we have one more.
Oh, okay. So then I'll give a summary.
Yeah, we have one more.
In summation.
Okay.
Next.
And I got to still talk about what it taught me. I haven't done that yet. So I'll do that at the end. Here we go.
So this pandemic, dating, and a sex life has been sucky on this. And I'm just going to say that. Being a single woman living alone, not being involved in a relationship for a period of time, it was a rough ride. And, you could work out, but so much, right? So, something that I used to, be totally against, I started to entertain, which is these dating sites. And I was getting to know different individuals on these sites. And in one in particular, guy really stuck out to me for the simple fact that a lot of these guys text you to death or pen pal you to death, and I just wanted like a voice, so he picked up the phone. He asked me questions. We had good conversation. He was very intentional. Let's go on a date. So within a few days of talking, we were already on our first date, and I was like, I like how this is moving. A girl has some needs, and I'm going to try to be a good girl as long as I can. Or a so-called good girl, right? After a couple of dates, after really good conversation, I felt like this was not necessarily my potential husband or potential man, but this might be a nice person to fill up my time during this quarantining season, because we got to be a little more cautious. I don't think many people are out here, well, some people might be having a rotation during COVID. That's just not a safe thing to do. But anyway, so, no judgment, for real. Because some people, rock out. Anyway, so this gentleman, we went to dinner, we went for a walk, we held hands, all the little romantic stuff. And then we went to the liquor store, as he suggested. And then we went to my house, which I typically don't let people know where I live. And then we experienced, a good time. We began to laugh, we began to sing. We had some good music going, some good drinks flowing. And next thing you know, his pants was down and he had an enormous package. And I was like, well, wow, okay. So I was expecting all these great things from this experience, and the package was fantastic, but I wasn't so sure about the delivery. It was a very painful experience, and I understand that when you ain't got none in a long time, and he's, a big old gorilla dick, that, it might be a little bit painful, but I think it would have been more pleasurable if he took more time with me. And I think that part of that is not getting to know him, or he didn't get to know me. And I don't think he put the work in, right? Or he wasn't putting the work in by asking what do I like. And so, lesson learned, right, is that, though, I do have needs and, and I might move a little faster than my usual during this time. I think it's important that I vet my suitors out a little better. And somebody that really takes time to unpack who I am as a person so they can really understand who I am intimately. And so as I move forward in this journey, I'm going to be more watchful, and I might start having conversations about sex with these guys, because that was something that we did not discuss prior, because it wasn't supposed to be the plan, even though I kind of knew it in my head that I was going to do that. So, as the saga continues, let's see how it goes. Panties and pandemics.
Oh, I feel like I'm a broken record when I talk about the fact that we need to talk about sex more before we have it, in terms of, what do you want and what does your partner want and what do you expect and all of those kinds of things. And
so here's the problem.
This definitely, can you not hear me?
I can.
Here's
the
me?
problem.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What's
here's
the
the problem with that. I agree. I definitely think that people should talk about sex more. I find as I date that you talk about sex and then it just like niggas become creeps. There's probably a better way to put it, but I just say niggas creepy. I don't like that. Because like what do you do? I work, but this is my passion. And I talk about, being a sex educator and and then it's just like.
Yeah, but I think that's different from having a conversation about.
Let me also say.
This is what I like. Okay. I
feel like also this, that tends to screen out the creeps. So it's like sometimes people are like, I'm not going to say it too soon. I'm like, no. I'm gonna tell you that shit up front because one, you know that I'm sex positive. Don't come to me with some fuck shit, homophobia, transphobia shit, right? Two, it tells me that you're comfortable enough in yourself to know that I'm out talking about sucking dick on the internet every week.
Right, and you don't feel threatened by that.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that for a lot of people, the idea of talking about sex makes it hard for you to pretend that you just slipped and fell on a dick, right? Like, if you have a conversation about it, then you have to admit that it's premeditated. You have to admit that, like, as our caller said, that she had an idea that that was something she wanted to do, but talking about it would have made it seem as if it was something that she was seeking as opposed to something that just ended up happening. But the problem, of course, is that what can end up happening is bad sex.
Yeah, and I think some guys also just feel like they want to feel like they, the Tupac lyric, it ain't fun if you don't know.
That's not it.
No, the one about like...
You know how I feel about that song, but that ain't
it. The one is like... I don't know. It's from I Get Around, and he's like, essentially like, let me feel like I want it from you.
Oh, I don't want to hit this that easy. Yeah. Yeah. That's my shit. That's what I listen to on replay after Shock G Pass.
But I mean, yeah. It's like, no, it should be easy. Right?
Yeah. I don't see why not. You know me, I told my partner on our second date that I want to fuck him. I don't see the point of, what I want to. I'm grown, you grown. We're consenting adults. I'm going to have the conversation. But then I think that even if you don't have that conversation, right, it can be tough. And I think if you don't have that conversation, it can be tough when you're in it to kind of back up and be like, hold up, this is not what I want, right? Like, or do this or do that. And if you haven't established that rapport with the person where you feel comfortable to be able to do that, then it's going to be hard to get what it is that you need out of the situation. I mean, I'm looking at the spot where I had to tell somebody that he should just go ahead and finish. Because I didn't know, I couldn't correct that.
You should wrap this up.
It was nothing I could say.
You should wrap this up. I'm going to be kind and let you stick around for a little bit, but you should wrap this up.
Like, it was, and because we hadn't had any conversations about it, we didn't know enough about each other for me to feel like I could, stop, have a laugh, have a conversation. I didn't really know I didn't know how he was going to react to me being like, hey, nigga, I'm not a piece of concrete and you are not a jackhammer. So I just told him to finish so he can get the fuck up off me. I mean, that could have put me in danger too. Who knows? But I get like being in it and just being like, okay, let me just finish.
Yeah.
But also, people with big penises who don't know how to use them are like a peeve of mine. I've absolutely told somebody to get the fuck off.
It's like a fucking turtleneck
that.
sweater. Like, what's the point of it? I mean, it's short. I'm sorry, a sleeveless turtleneck sweater. What? Like, what's the point of it, nigga? Is it supposed to keep you warm? Because it's
your
not.
neck is warm.
My arms out.
But your arms are not.
Yeah, like, what's the point of this shit?
Fashion? I don't know. But I hate that was her experience. I mean, that sucks, right? Like, she kind of...
It's a learning experience. You know, I mean, it's fucked up, but...
Yeah.
You know, knocked down
it seems
9
like
times,
she,
get up 10.
she got a lesson out of it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes.
So, what about you? What has COVID taught you?
Honestly, what COVID taught me was that I absolutely can have quiet sex in the morning without waking up my child.
We can do it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the lesson, because, you know, I have been dealing with fatigue and other illness stuff during a lot of COVID, right? So by the time I get to the end of the day,
Can't happen.
I used to be a night owl, and I am like forcing myself to keep my eyes open after a certain point. And, you know, I might have had it in my head all day, like, ooh, take a shower, gonna have sex, gonna be whatever. And then my ass is drooling watching 600-Pound Life. Like, it just ain't happening.
Good show.
It is a good show. Y'all sucked me in. But that's what morning sex is for. Mm-hmm. And my partner would always be like, oh, she walking around. What if she hears us? Whatever.
Shut up and get over here.
Right. And we both got to the point where it was like, listen, we got to take it when we can actually be awake to enjoy it. And we can do this quietly. Yeah, we can do this quietly. And so we practiced, and we found the positions to make the least noise.
So when your child was away, y'all was like, okay, we practicing for morning sex.
Yeah, so we can see how we can make it work, and we've been able to make it work. And now, and plus, I already like morning sex, which we were doing when she wasn't here. But so we figured out how to make it work on weekdays and things when she's roaming around the house and not calling any attention to ourselves. She told me a few weeks ago, she's like, you know, I can hear y'all in the morning, right? I was like, you can hear what? She's like, I hear y'all laughing and watching TV and stuff. I was like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, we be laughing and watching TV and stuff.
Well, sometimes we do. Like, if we wake up early inexplicably, we'll watch a documentary or, you know, whatever. Or just be up and talking or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. That's what you heard. We'll leave it at that.
We'll go with
that's
that.
The biggest thing I learned.
Okay.
That where there is a will, there is
a way.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Do you have anything else to add?
I do not. I think we covered it. It was interesting to hear from our listeners about this thing that we all went through. It's interesting. Like, there's not too many like real phenomena. Exactly. And the different ways that it impacted folks. Exactly. In some way or another. It's been interesting to hear how folks handled it and what it meant to them in this area of their lives. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
All righty. Well, with that wraps up this week's episode of The Turn On. I hope everyone had a good time and got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. 2 hoes.
Yeah, we're done.
Making it clap.
Bye. This episode was produced by us, Kenrya and Erica, and edited by Ballistic. The theme music is from Brazy. Hit subscribe right now in your favorite podcast app and at youtube.com/The Turn On Podcast so you'll never miss an episode.
Then follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. And you can find links to books, transcripts, guest info, what's turning us on, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com.
And don't forget to email us at theturnonpodcast@gmail.com with your book recommendations and your pressing sex and related questions.
And you can support the show by leaving us a 5-star review, buying some merch, or becoming a patron of the show. Just head to theturnonpodcast.com to make that happen.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Holla.